Hey friends, it's Betsy from the blog of flourishingplace.com, and in today's video I have a special guest with me. This is my sister-in-law, Laura.
Hello.
And Laura is here because we have been talking about tips and tricks for good garage sailing. If you are someone that loves the idea of garage sailing but feel like you can never hit them right or never find a good deal, I enjoy doing it, but Laura is really an expert, and so I thought I would bring her on to just do a quick video and talk through some typical questions for how to do some great garage sailing. If you enjoy this video, I also have a full link in the description box below to a blog post. If you're interested, you can check it out. Okay, so I think one of the big questions that people have is, how do you find good garage sales to go to? Is there a way to kind of know before you go?
Yeah, definitely. So I usually start with an app. There are a couple good ones depending on if you want to pay or if you want free. I like free. So I have one called Yard Sale Treasure Map. And you can put in your zip code and then it'll show you different ones that people report in the area, and they'll have an address and a little description about what it is. So I usually go on there on Friday nights, take a look, see what's near me. I always look for ones that have like actual full addresses because it usually is more legit, and then look at the descriptions and see if they've described anything that's there that's kind of in the realm of what I'm looking for. So I pick a couple of those, usually just 2 or 3, and then as I'm going to those ones, I just keep an eye out and look for signs in the different areas that I'm going. Often those will be the best garage sales that you didn't even know about and nobody thought to advertise, but they're the little hidden gems in the back corner of little neighborhoods. So just keep an eye out, be flexible, be willing to take a little detour and see what you can find.
Okay, that's good. That's always a big question that people have because you feel like you don't want to waste time, you know, half the day on Saturday driving around looking for stuff. But at the same time, sometimes, like you're saying, the spontaneous ones that you just happen to find end up being really cool.
Exactly. And I will say, even though it's counterintuitive, some of the, shall I say, more wealthy neighborhoods are often the best place to go because those people aren't necessarily looking to make money on what they're selling. They just want to make a little extra cash, do a social garage sale. Usually it's a neighborhood garage sale or something like that, and so they're not necessarily hoping to make more money than what something might be worth, and so it's often the place that you can get nicer items at a better price.
This is one I think of often. When is a good time to hit a garage sale? Because sometimes you'll hear, like at estate sales, I went to one the other day, they were like, oh, there were 50 people lined up, you know, half an hour before we started.
Yes.
And then sometimes people say, oh, you can really clean up if you go to a garage sale at the end. And so what would you say is kind of an ideal time to hit a garage sale?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I went to an estate sale the other day, and as we were walking up to it, the neighbors said, oh, there's nothing left. There's nothing left in the house. And we went in, and my husband and I walked out with an armful of kitchen things that we needed to set up our apartment that are like exactly what we were looking for and what we had on our list. So you never know what you're gonna find. I would say it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to score an item, a specific item, I would go at the beginning because you do have people who will come right away, especially if it's an item that's more popular. And they're looking for it and it's in the description and all that, it'll go quickly. So if you're looking to score an item, I would go when things open and try to hit them right away. If you're looking to score a good deal, I would go at the end.
Okay.
That's usually when people are cleaning up, they want to get rid of stuff, they're more willing to bargain, they're more willing to take lower prices, they just want it out the door. The only caveat to that, I would say, is the weather. If it's super hot or if it's super rainy, I would go kind of towards the middle of the day because people are often really tired, they want to be done, they don't want to be sitting out there in the heat of the rain, and they're like, take it, just take it and go, because they're going to close up as soon as they feel like they've sold enough.
So wait till the weather's just really awful and then make a run for it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I hadn't contemplated the weather idea, but that's...
Yeah, we had a really hot stretch of weather the other day. You know, we were in the hundreds, and by like 10 or 11 a.m. people were clearing things out. I was at a garage sale and they were just like, name your price, take it.
Take it and go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. This is one that I really stink at, but you are really good at this. And so how do you haggle? When you go to a garage sale, you're looking to get something for a little bit less or see if they'll bring their price down. How do you do it? Because I stink at this, but you really have a way with not being rude, but kind of getting in there and seeing if you can get a better price.
Yeah, starting out, it's just all about being friendly, chatting with people, getting to know them, kind of getting a feel, because some people you can tell right away have a lot of like emotional attachment to items or really are like wanting to make a good profit on things. And so you can kind of get that feeling right away and hear what they're haggling about with other people to know if they're gonna say yes or no. But honestly, my theory is the worst they can say is no. And then I decide, do I wanna go up in price? Am I willing to pay more? Or does that mean that item's just not worth it for me? So I kind of go into it knowing what I'm willing to pay, and then I go a little lower than that. So start low, don't be afraid to lowball them. I mean, that's what a garage sale is all about, and people will laugh and say no if it's way too low, and you can laugh with them and then come up a little bit in price. But I would also say another trick is to have cash in your hand. So if you're offering $5 for an item that might be priced at $10, have that $5 bill in your hand. If they see the cash, they're a lot more willing to make the deal because they know that that cash is guaranteed right there. It's kind of like a psychological thing. If they see you holding it, they're more likely to accept the price and say sure. So that's what I would say. And then just know what you're willing to pay. And if you want to put it back, great. And if they accept your lowball price, you just got a great deal.
What is the difference between an estate sale, a garage sale, a yard sale? Are these all different names for the same thing? Or do each of them kind of have their own flavor, and is one preferable to another?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think some of it is regional. I know I lived in the Midwest for a while, and they had different names than we did. They often said yard sale. I very rarely saw a garage sale. So it'll depend on where you live. I think yard sales and garage sales are pretty interchangeable. Moving sales typically tend to be bigger, although sometimes people will use that term to draw a crowd, and it's a little deceptive and it won't be as big as you expect. So I would never count on that. Estate sales are usually fairly large. They're often indoors, and they have a much broader range because often they'll just pull everything out of closets and cupboards and things like that and just lay them out on counters, and there will be a lot more like bigger ticket items, artwork, often furniture, bigger things like that that you might not see as much of at like garage sales or yard sales.
What is the difference, or have you noticed a difference between estate sales that are like run by a company versus an estate sale that's run by a family or the family of an individual? And have you noticed one being better or different, than the other?
Yeah, I would say they're probably not better or different, although if they hire a company, maybe things are higher end and pricier. But I will say that you can't haggle as much. If it's someone who is the owner or it was their family member, they're willing to bargain a little bit. If it's a company, they don't have that leeway often. So they'll often do a set price, and then like the estate sale we were at the other day, we came at the last day, at the last couple hours, everything was half off because they were trying to get rid of stuff.
Okay. Can you tell us about some of the sweet deals that you have scored at garage sales? Because this is what happens. we get together, like for a family get together, and Laura is like, hey, we went to a garage sale this morning, and she'll pull out this stuff that it's like, and she says, oh, I got this for $1. Oh, I got this for $2. And it's like, what? How did you get that? And so do you have any particular items that were memorable for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our stuff comes from garage sales. So like she said, if you ask about an item in our home, often it did come from a garage sale or a thrift store or something like that. Yeah, so a couple of items we've gotten recently. We've gotten a lot of our home decor, so artwork on the walls. We often buy artwork from estate sales, especially. We bought a stool for my husband to sit at a standing desk that was originally over $100 on Amazon. We got it for $2 at a garage sale. Some of our lamps and different items around the home as well. One of our higher priced items, but still an excellent deal, was we recently got my husband a bike. He was looking for a bike, and we found one that's retailed at $750+ and we got it for $130 awesome. At a garage sale. So that was a great item. Exercise equipment is actually another thing that's really good to find at a yard sale, because often people purchase it in January with the best of intentions, and by summertime they're realizing that they're not going to follow through, or it's taking up space, it's just becoming a dusty item in their house, and they're willing to part with it for a much discounted price, and often they're very lightly used. So exercise bikes and weights and things like that are often really good to find at a garage sale.
Another question I thought of, and this pertains to garage selling, but it also pertains to just kind of thrift shopping and shopping for deals in general. Do you feel like you always, because you kind of tend to be, minimal on the clutter, do you have a particular place or spot in mind for something before you purchase it? Have you ever purchased something and been like, well, this is just a good deal, I know I'll find a place for it? Yeah. Or do you always kind of say, I need to have a specific idea for this piece before I just go ahead and buy it? Because I know sometimes people will get excited about a deal and they'll buy a bunch of things, and then, you know, 2 weeks later they're like, why I don't have room for this, or now I just feel like I brought more clutter into the house. And how do you kind of avoid that as you're garage sailing?
So I often try to take the time. Either I'll see an item and know, like, I have a spot for that and I know exactly where that's gonna go. There are some birds up on the wall there that you'll see. I got those for 25 cents at a garage sale last weekend, and I knew exactly where they were going. I knew I had a hole in my gallery wall. I knew what I wanted to fill it with, and as soon as I saw them, I thought those would be perfect. So I often will have an idea. If I don't, I try to take a few moments and like kind of mentally sweep through my house and think, where would this be practical? Where would this be useful? But sometimes I do buy things just because I absolutely love them. I'm the sort of person that I have to really love it. My husband calls it the X factor. It has to have the X factor if we're gonna buy it. Both of us are pretty minimalist. And so some items I will just think like, I love this so much, it's so cheap, I'm gonna find a place for this. And it might be something I tuck away and then a few years later I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with it now. And sometimes I know immediately. When I come home, I find a spot for it. And if I don't, I resell it. There's lots of different apps you can use, OfferUp and different things like that, Facebook Marketplace, and you can always sell it, sometimes at cost and sometimes even making a profit if it's something that you decide is not a good fit for your home.
So final question for you, any advice that you would have for beginning garage sailors or people that have kind of been casually doing it but really want to get better at it?
I would say number one, make a list. I always kind of in the springtime, as I'm thinking ahead to garage sailing, make a list of items that we want. They're things that we either need but don't have a timeline on when we need them, or they're things that like we would dream of, like, oh, we would love to have this, but it's just not in our budget right now to buy it new. Yeah. So we make a list, kind of have that in my back pocket whenever I go out. Then I would say also be flexible. So make a list, be flexible. You never know what you're gonna find. Some of the most fun finds, you just had no idea you were even looking for it, and then you're like, this would be perfect. So be flexible and then have fun. It's really fun to treasure hunt. You never know what you're gonna find. You find one-of-a-kind pieces, and do it with friends. Do it with someone that you enjoy being with. It makes it a lot more fun.
That's all for today. I hope this was encouraging for you. I hope it was helpful. I also have my free guide in the description box below, 5 simple steps to declutter any space in your home. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I make videos on this channel all about decluttering, organizing, and creating beauty in your home on a budget, and I will see you next time.